Well, good evening, influencers. Welcome to the Digital Influence Facebook advertising webinar on retargeting. So thanks very much for joining me again tonight. I can see there's a lot of people who have registered previously and seen some of the previous webinars, as well as some new people. So welcome, whether you've watched a few of these or whether this is your first one. So I'm Dallas from Influential Digital. I run a digital marketing agency, and we specialize in helping professionals to build their reputation as a leader at what they do. So we help them stand out online and get found as an expert provider at what they do. And part of that is attracting clients from things like social media, and pay-per-click advertising is a really important part of how we do this. So based on what I've learned, both building my own business and also running campaigns for clients, I wanted to share some of the really exciting new features of Facebook advertising with you that can help you get the most out of your online presence. Now, this will be a fairly fast, jam-packed session. A lot of these things are quite technical, and it's a bit boring to sort of spend too long explaining them. So I'll be moving pretty quickly. I've been building websites, blogging, and doing social media marketing for about 10 years now, and things are just changing all the time. So I want you to have a really open mind when you're watching this. It can look a bit confusing and like I'm moving really quickly, but once you start doing these things yourself, you'll find that it's not rocket science. It's just lots of little things to know, and if you do them in the right order, it all works. Yeah, personally, I've spent probably 6 figures getting training myself and then testing and implementing this in my own business and on client work. Facebook ads is really hot right now. It's something we're really focusing on, and I'll be sharing some really nice insider secrets with you. Now, I will say that this is live training, so things might go wrong, things might break, and that's really part of doing any sort of online marketing or other online activity. Is you really just need to get used to the idea that the internet is pretty much in a constant state of being broken and rebuilt. So don't stress when things go wrong. Experienced people get to realize that it's usually the technology and sometimes you, but you've just got to persevere. So what we'll cover today, we're going to look at the big picture, which is social sales funnel overview. So what we're trying to do is to draw people in who we don't yet know into our sales process, where we can then build a relationship with them, educate them about our products and services and what they need to do to get the results that they want, and then demonstrate how we can help them, share some proof of what we can do for them in terms of past case studies or examples, or perhaps an introductory product or service, and then finally sell them our high-priced product. So we'll be focusing on using Facebook ads to target your ideal clients. So you can tell you're in the right place here if these things are things you'd like to do. One of the really interesting things is using retargeting, which is what we're talking about tonight, to nurture leads. So this is where you've got someone who you're already in a sales process with. They might have downloaded something from your website, perhaps they're on your email list, but they haven't yet bought from you. So connecting with them via Facebook ads or promoted posts is a great way to reach out to them and sort of keep them warm while they're building the relationship toward buying. We'll also look at using retargeting to recover lost sales. So this might be where someone, seemed pretty keen, they got to the point where they're ready to buy, and then they've sort of gone cold. And, it's not always possible just to call them up and say, hey, why didn't you buy? Sometimes it's better to sort of reintroduce them back into that funnel at a higher level and then move them toward the sale again with some fresh information. As I said, we'll be looking at the strategies behind this, not just the how-to. What I find is people are really keen to get the how-to and sort of think, oh, it's just a few little clicks I need to know. Now, that's true. You do need to know the step-by-step, but for most people, that's not what's really holding them back. It's having the big picture in place, having a very clear offer, and that maintaining its appeal through the sales process toward finally selling the final product. So we'll talk about that big picture strategy throughout. And I'll also talk about how you can create your own social sales funnel. Now, we've got a lot to cover, so I will be moving quickly, but I will make a point of showing you how you can take this further if you'd like to. And yeah, as I said, sometimes things just go wrong, and it can seem like it's a disaster. Something I just have found with working with clients, they nearly always say, "Oh, it's such a relief to see it doesn't always work for you too." Like, and that's just the way the net works. So, you know, whenever you're attempting these things, we're always testing. When we run Facebook ads, often our campaigns don't work, and then we have to adjust what we're doing. So really keep that in mind. You know, even the experts are testing all the time, and that can be hard to explain to clients. I was chatting to Carl Bischoff, who is an online marketing expert, the other day, and for him, testing is a positive thing, but to clients, sometimes he says they don't really get it. They think, geez, why am I paying you to test? Surely you know the answers. And really, you have to test every single offer that you do. There's nothing written in stone. What worked last year might not work right now. What worked last week might not work next week. So you've got to maintain a very agile mind. And yeah, if it's broken, just turn it off and on again and try again. So as I said, my name is Dallas McMillan from Influential, and yeah, we're going to be talking about social sales funnels. And you know, my basic map of how we market to people is that, first of all, they don't know us. We want them to know us well, and ultimately to buy from us and generate revenue for our business. In order for that to occur, there's really a 5-step process they need to go through. They need to know, like, and trust us before they're willing to try and buy our most valuable products and services. And just adjusting my screen size a little bit here. That's really important to recognize that if you've got a high value product or service, you need to build up a lot more trust, a lot more knowing, liking, and trusting, and also to be able to prove or demonstrate it to people before they're willing to buy. If you're selling something that is really standardized and only costs a couple of dollars or $20, then people will take the risk, or they kind of expect it will just work, and if it doesn't, they don't care, or they'll just get their money back. Whereas when it's a more expensive or complex purchase, then they're much more careful about whether they're willing to go ahead or not. And this know, like, trust, try, buy process is much more important with these more complex products and services. Now, as I mentioned, I mostly work with professional service firms, so they've often got you know, service-based products, which by their nature are intangible. It's hard to tell exactly what you'll get until you've already got it. So for them to market themselves, they've got to be a bit smarter, I guess, than if you're just selling like a car or a you know, an item of clothing, or you know, perhaps some technology. And in talking about social sales funnels, we're really talking about pulling clients from things like Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, Instagram, but also one of the most common and forgotten social channels is email. Anything where you're kind of chatting to people and where messages can be passed between people, such as with email, is a social channel, and that's really important in this process. And really, this the Facebook ad side of things is how we get traffic. It's how we put traffic in. And tonight we're really focusing on, if we just go back to this previous step, we're really focusing on traffic from people who either they might know us or we know them. So perhaps we've got a list of customers that you already know, but you can't actually market to them. So this is a really common scenario where you might have a list of, you know, say you sell your product to accountants or to, you know, a certain type of shop owner or a certain type of customer, and you've got an email list with 1,000 people on there who you'd love to market to, you're actually not legally able to put them into something like MailChimp or Aweber or Infusionsoft and start sending them bulk email. So what do you do? The trick in this situation is that with Facebook ads, you can actually target them and send them targeted advertising without breaching the terms of those email lists or your mailing software. So that's really valuable. Another reason is if you've got a list of leads who, you know, they sort of know you. Perhaps they've downloaded an information product from you or signed up to your newsletter, but they haven't really signed up to be marketed to. So they've opted in to download a specific product, but they haven't said, hey, yeah, sure, send me your email series. And this is really common. And I see a lot of marketers who, you know, they've got like a lead magnet, or you might know it as an ethical bribe. You know, it's like an ebook or something, and they've given their name and email address to get that ebook. That doesn't actually, you know, if your offer is give me your email address, I'll send you my ebook, you haven't really started that relationship promising that you'll send them emails. So you're actually outside the terms of your contract with them. Even though you've got their email address, you haven't really got permission to mail them yet. Sometimes you can sort of squeak around that, but with this strategy, you can do that with good conscience and, you know, really create a sense that they're seeing you around and wanting to be with you rather than you hounding them and actually invading their privacy and overstepping the mark. And that's really important in the whole sort of content marketing or permission marketing mindset, that we actually want them to be coming to us and to be seeing us everywhere, rather than us sort of chasing them down or calling them up or you know, invading their email inbox. Another reason you could use Facebook marketing, like we're going to discuss, and retargeting specifically, is if you don't actually have a list, but maybe you've got a really good network. And what I'll show you tonight is how you can download your LinkedIn network and download all your contacts in LinkedIn, and then add them to a Facebook retargeting campaign where you create a custom audience and you send ads specifically to those people. Now, chances are the people in your LinkedIn network already know you a little bit, and this is a way to build that relationship. Another reason is if you've got some warm leads and they're really almost there, but in order to increase your conversion rate or to take them through that next step, then you can sort of retarget them when they're halfway through a campaign and just remind them, you know, we've got that event coming up, would you like to register? Or perhaps you've got an additional product that you'd like them to buy before you market to them later. And another reason that remarketing or retargeting, which is pretty much synonyms, can be useful is that often you've got people who opted in and then went to buy, perhaps they even went to the sales page and then didn't buy. But clearly they were interested. So what better way to reach them than to sort of remind them, hey, this product's still available. And you can actually, you know, by targeting a specific page, you can tailor the message in your advertising to be very specific to where they're at in their sales process. So this can be used in a very simple way, or it can be used in a very tailored and customized way where you're exactly tailoring your message in your marketing to what stage they're up to. So I'm sure you've had this experience. You've been to someone's website or downloaded a product and you start seeing these ads around the internet advertising to you. And Facebook's one of the common places it occurs. We're going to focus on Facebook today because the platform they've set up for remarketing is really easy to use. It is a platform that nearly everyone's on, and the budget that you can work with is very small. So it's a great way to get started and sort of test things out. And I will tell you that there's a fair chance that you'll spend a fair bit of money on this and just not get any results at all. You've really got to get it right. And what the message I want to make sure you come away with is that it's very easy to learn how to use these tools, but then you've got to be very you've got to pay a lot of attention to make sure that you get your marketing message exactly right, that your offer's right, that your images are right, your landing page is right. That all has to be right, because it's sort of a multiplier effect. You might just get a 10% opt-in at each of those steps. And if you improve that by 50% and get a 15% conversion at each step, the multiplication effect can mean that might be a 5 or 10 times improved outcome. So start small. You can advertise for as little as $5 to promote a post, or $1 a day. So it's very small amounts of money. And really, what we're looking for is a way to just break even at first, which means we can continue to advertise, improve our offer and our product, so that ultimately we can, our marketing pays for itself and then is driving toward a higher value product. And the types of things that we might use Facebook advertising for generally, and remarketing specifically, is things like just general promotion for your business, getting your brand out there, getting seen. I find this really good. There's people that I've got on various email lists, or people who've liked my page, and it's just a way to get in front of them, even if they don't even click the ad. Just to see your brand again is reminding them that you're in the market, especially if you've got a lot of competitors or you don't actually do a lot with your customers from day to day. This is a way just to, in a fairly non-intrusive way, just be top of mind. Perhaps you've got a book or an ebook that you'd like to promote and send them to. Perhaps you'd like to generate leads for a service or a more expensive sale, and you just want to get in leads that then you can phone to follow up with in person. Maybe you've got a website or some other sort of e-commerce functionality, and you'd like to get more customers to buy your products and services. Or maybe you've got a physical premises and you really want to get people to come along to your shop or your office or a live event. So Facebook advertising can be used for all of these. And remember, the overall goal that I really aspire to, and that my business Influential is really all about, is being visible, being credible, and being remarkable. And Facebook can really help us support this. The ads help that first step of visibility, and then by taking them through to a valuable offer, something like a training webinar like I'm putting on now, or an ebook or some other sort of gift, that's a chance for you to share your expertise and demonstrate your knowledge. By doing things differently, and also just by being sort of top of mind, as we've talked about, you start becoming more remarkable. And I think this is a great analogy is if you've ever gone to buy a car, or you've bought a new red dress, or pair of fancy shoes or something like that, then you start seeing them everywhere, because you've turned on your reticular activating system, the part of your brain that looks for patterns, that looks for interesting things, is attuned to this new thing we're looking for. And we all know that phenomenon, and that does occur. Well, on one hand, if you believe in the law of attraction type thing, then you think it's a magical event when you see something coming into your life, and you think, well, that's proof it's going to come in. But even from a strictly hard science perspective, that would tell us that, in fact, those things, the red car or the pink dress, they're always around us, but we just don't notice. But when we turn our brain onto them, then we see them again and again, and they stand out to us. And when that's happening, there's little neurotransmitters going off, reinforcing our memory and our attachment to those things when we see them again. So, if we were thinking about buying the red car and then we see it a few more times, it actually can increase our desire to buy, and particularly if there's an opportunity to further engage with that. And that's what these ads do. We might see a product and think, no, look, maybe I won't buy that. And then we see it again, and we might click on it and have a bit more of a look. Any engagement, any interaction we make with it is actually strengthening those neural bonds, and sort of connections in our brain and making us want it even more. So this ability to sort of target people is really powerful. A core of our approach is just being known for one thing, that you really want to just develop a single, very clear value proposition about what your business offers and what you're known for. By employing Facebook ads, you can really support that process. And what's important is that with Facebook ads, you'll see as we get into it, while it's very quick and easy to make an ad, you actually want to be testing lots of different variables. So rather than trying to run 10 different ad campaigns at once for different products or different stages, it's much better to tighten it down to one offer and test, refine one offer and one sales funnel until you get that working really well. There's no good having 10 ads running that are all losing money. You'd much rather have a single one that's just breaking even, but then tweak that until it's profitable and also leading toward a high value sale, so that effectively your lead generation and marketing are paying for themselves or even making you money. That changes the whole game of marketing your business. We'll just fly through this because I know a lot of you have already seen it. So how do you attract more clients and convert them into buyers? We want people to know, like, and trust us so they can try and buy our most valuable products and services. And each stage of this process sort of correlates to a specific set of questions that people are asking when they encounter us. When they're first getting to know us, usually they've just bumped into us either in a social environment or they're searching for something. And at this stage, we really just want to communicate who we are, what we do, who we help, and what's the ROI that we deliver. The challenge here is getting noticed and remembered. And this is probably the most significant place where we can use Facebook ads to actually amplify this, because while things like search engine optimization and organic search, like organic referrals from other websites, are a really important part of web traffic, and they're great if you can get them because it's free. That's the ultimate. But what that doesn't offer is the ability to turn on a tap and turn on more leads into your business whenever you want. And if you get it right, a pay-per-click approach, where especially one that's cash flow positive, lets you do that. Whenever you're getting quiet, whenever you need more business, whenever you need the phone to ring, you can actually just spend some more money on ads, especially if you're able to monetize that with some low value products or services, and bring more leads into your business. And at the second stage, as people get to know us and start interacting with us, they're really just figuring out, well, do I like them? Do I want to keep working with them? Do I want to get emails from them, or will I unsubscribe or report spam? At this point, the criteria they're really working on are, well, why do you do it? Why should I care? What's different about you? Are you the kind of company I want to work with? What do you stand for? And the challenge here is sort of building alignment, a relationship with a customer, and as well as being remembered. And this is where you can imagine seeing your face or brand pop up in their Facebook ads or elsewhere on the internet is going to really help you to be remembered and catch their attention. As they get further into the funnel, they're starting to get more serious about possibly working with us, and they'll build trust with us. And one of the ways we do this is by sharing our expertise, by myth busting, by breaking common myths they might have about the way your industry works, or that they should get results. And at this point, they're really asking, well, why should I trust you? Are you an expert? And what's the proof? And in our social sales funnel, we use education, publishing as ways to build our authority. It's no coincidence that the word authority has the word author in it. Literally, an author is an authority, and particularly for my generation or older people, where we grew up, where books really were the ultimate sort of arbiter of truth. You could always go and read it in the textbook. Today, of course, we look up Google. So the world has changed, and younger generations probably won't hold the book thing quite as strongly, but it's still very strong. And the challenge at this point is making sense of what's going on and differentiating ourselves from the competition, because as people get more serious about buying, they start saying, oh yeah, I see you're a bit like these other companies, maybe I should buy from one of them instead. And you want to be demonstrating why your product or service or approach to business is better or so different that there really isn't any competition. And that's a big part of what we cover in this process too. Eventually they'll move to a point where they want to sort of try out or test or get proof of the of your capacity to help them and to deliver value. The ways they do this is by looking at how your product or service actually works. They'd love to hear that it's easy, that it's made especially for them. And for you, you're really wanting to qualify the buyer and actually make sure they're going to be a good customer for you. You don't just want someone who's got money in a pulse. You want people who are going to follow your process, who will get good results, who will be good referrers and easy to work with. The challenge here for you is generally getting them to take action and commit. It's easy for them to hover around these first few steps and then not really take the next step. So this is where things like calls to action or smaller products with low barriers to entry are very attractive. And then finally, we want them to buy our high value product. At this point, we're wanting to really convert the sale and do all that transactional stuff, like perhaps there's contracts to sign or delivering the first information that we need to get started on the project or give them their product. Often at this stage, there's some onboarding and the ongoing marketing process doesn't really stop. In a way, the marketing continues into the customer relationship because very often we want them to refer us, we want them to build a strong relationship with us, and we want them to buy sort of upsells or ongoing services. So in a way, the marketing never really continues. Marketing is just your relationship with your customer. The challenge here is as you start to deliver the detail of what you do, like the nuts and bolts of what you do, is that you don't turn it into a transactional relationship where there's not this sort of interpersonal communication, which has helped you get to this point. And this can be really complex in my business, for example, where the front end of the sales is often quite social, but then you're getting into tech development. It's kind of boring and off-putting for most people. There's a lot of fiddly work to do. That can be a hard point to maintain the relationship. But if you do, then there's rewards in terms of more likelihood of referrals or upsells. And the product of this process, of this social sales process, is value, but not just revenue and profit, but rather relationships as well. And I'll just put this slide in to emphasize that early on in your marketing, you're really just wanting to communicate one thing: what you do, what your value proposition is, what they're going to get, what's the transformational result that you deliver. So that's what we want our marketing to be about up front. And this is a challenge for people because as providers of the service, we've got all this information about if this is the transformation we deliver, and this is sort of why it's important, how it matters, how we're different. And then we might have a method that we explain it to people through so they understand how we get the result and make sense of it in kind of layman's terms. And perhaps we've got actual individual steps and processes as they get further in. We start saying, all right, first you'll come into the office and then sit down and we'll do a diagnostic process, and then we'll set you up with the first step. And then ultimately, we're looking at individual products, services, tools, or features. And this is sort of the nitty-gritty of what you actually do. And for many of us, this bottom line is kind of what we think of our job being. But this is the worst thing to sell because people don't understand it, they don't see the value, and they don't really want it. What they really want is the transformation that it supports. So you need the tools, products, features, services, etc., to support your processes, to support your method, to support your your big objectives of how you get things done, and support your ultimate result. But this is what people care about. So in a way, even though the bulk of your business is about the nitty-gritty and how you actually do stuff, what your customer really cares about is this. And so 90% of your marketing should really be concentrated on the result that you deliver and the benefits to the customer, rather than how you do it or what you do or what technology you use. And if you aren't convinced by this, one great reason to take that approach is that once you start talking about specific product features or characteristics, then you're entering a commodity conversation, because whatever technology or tools you use, chances are other people in your industry use exactly the same technology or tools, or a variation on them that your client can't really tell the difference between. And there's often even sort of third-party wholesalers who offer even cheaper versions of the same thing. So your customer can often look at this and then shop around and say, well, gee, why are you charging so much when these bits and pieces actually only cost X amount? So part of our market, our strategy, our overall strategy is all about the result, even as we start to move into the nitty-gritty of service delivery. And I'm just putting in here the sort of different context that these steps occur in. So know, like, trust, try, and buy. Generally, this is going to occur when the client's searching for answers. But what we're going to do in this, oops, sorry, I'll just go back there. What we're going to do in our Facebook marketing is, instead of relying on organic search or referrals from other sites or partners, we're going to instead drive this process with socially sourced leads. And in this case, rather than us waiting for the customer to know us, we're going to choose a set of customers, people that we know from a list, our existing customers, our existing network, and we're going to target them and put them into the top of the funnel here. And then we're going to socially interact with them. We're going to share value and expertise with them and move into our sales process before offering a final solution. But what we're doing in this webinar is really focusing on this sort of first couple of steps, the know, like, because that's how we get people into our sales funnel. And one of the challenges with marketing these days is that it's so multi-platform, it's so distributed. There's lots of different touch points. There was a time, if you needed a business to buy a product or to employ a professional, then you really didn't have many options. You could ask a friend for who they used, or you could look it up in the phone book, and that was about all you could do. Today, we can search on Google, we can contact them through a myriad of technologies or social networks. They'll definitely be checking out your website. Even if you have got a great referral from a satisfied client who the client knows, likes, and trusts, so you sort of inherit that know, like, and trusting, even then they're going to check out your website. And if the website looks terrible, or they find some terrible reviews on social media or on a TripAdvisor or Google local or Facebook reviews or something like that, then that could totally sabotage any prospect you have of getting a sale there. So the world's got a lot more complex, but in a way, it's still the same stuff. People are just communicating with each other about who's a good match for them. And people still rely on what their friends and family say, but now this occurs online. So they'll be chatting to their friends on Facebook. They might be asking people on review sites or forums. If we can sort of take control of some of these platforms, like using Facebook, having a great website, having a good online profile, then it really improves even those direct referrals. It helps improve our conversions. And in your business, chances are that the difference between getting that ideal client or the big job and not getting it can be as simple as just having a great website or having the email going out at the right time. In terms of how we're going to keep in touch with clients, I've talked a little bit about mailing list software before. These sorts of tools are pretty much essential components of your online marketing arsenal. So these are all email auto-responding programs, and they're sometimes called CRMs. So a CRM is a customer relationship management system, and what it basically does is give you a list of customers and tell you how you've interacted with them. So have you sent them emails? Have they bought specific products? Have you marked them as having done certain things? So for example, if someone downloads a specific product or buys something or gets a phone call, these systems let you sort of tag them or record that conversation from the phone call so that you can keep track of the relationship as it's evolved. And because this is a social process, there's a big difference between someone who we've emailed 5 times and phoned once and has bought something from us, and someone else who's just bought something from us and hasn't had a conversation with us. So they're at different stages of the relationship. Doesn't always mean they'll behave differently, but this information becomes more and more important as we're able to better track the data. And if just thinking of that previous slide, what's really interesting about this social media technology and other online technology is that one of the common criticisms of social media is that, well, what's the ROI? And in fact, the way the analytics are set up, you can actually get much better ROI on social media, on your website, on SEO, than you can on something like magazine ads, attending trade events, radio ads, referrals. So it's very likely that if you've got well set up systems, that the best metrics you have on ROI are from these online marketing things. And once you've got the measurements, then you need to start improving it. So it's actually quite hard to get ROI, particularly on social media alone. And I should point out that Facebook in particular is now a pay-to-play platform. If you post something on Facebook and you've got 1,000 Facebook followers, it's not unusual. So you've got 1,000 people like your page on Facebook. It's not unusual to only get 10 or 50 people see a post. And then if some of them interact with it and it kind of goes a little bit viral, then you can get a lot more interaction. But it's quite common to have very, very low levels of exposure of your content from your Facebook page. Whereas if you then boost that post and just spend $5 or $10, then that might be 2,000 people seeing the post. Now, because a lot of them won't actually know you probably won't get heaps of interaction just from that, but you can see how a small bit of money makes your content go a lot further. So that's sort of what we're tying into. Facebook has basically spent 10 years building up 1 billion customers on there, and now they're kind of cashing in at the bank. It's payday for them, and they're charging businesses to use their platform to connect with customers. So the purpose of this slide is really to say, yep, we want to get them from Facebook, but then we want to keep in touch with them. And the way we do this is generally through email and through these CRMs. Some of these CRMs also integrate with social media to a limited degree, and we're going to see more and more of that over time. Now, as you know, there are a heap of different social networks. There's new ones coming along all the time. Even 3 or 4 years ago, it's probably 5 or 6 years ago now, when I started getting into social media, there were already hundreds of sites and new ones starting every week. So, while there's always a bit of buzz about the latest Periscope or Meerkat or Vine or Instagram, like that, there's always some hot new social network. For the most part, people are on Facebook, LinkedIn, to a lesser extent, Twitter. YouTube is very popular. So there's a handful of sites that have the vast majority of people on there. As you start getting into some of the newer sites, then the numbers are usually much lower. They're often more the sort of early adopters tend to be on there, younger people. Sometimes they might be a target market, often they aren't. So you just need to be aware of which platform to target. It's really important to just pick a network and get really good at one rather than trying to be on 10. Though, in my opinion, you need to be on Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Plus, and probably YouTube. And Twitter's quite nice to have. There's a handful of nice to haves after that, but you really, Facebook and LinkedIn are the obvious ones. Google Plus is very important from the perspective of being able to do things like Google Hangouts, and also there's a significant SEO benefit. I'll just fly through this because we've covered this in detail in the past. So let's look at how we're going to put all this together. Effectively, we're looking at ways to drive traffic into the top of a sales funnel, and the main three sources that we're going to be using are email, search engines, and social media. And I've represented them here with their most common representatives, which are Google and Facebook. And Facebook's what we're concentrating on today, so that's very handy. Google is also worth mentioning just from the perspective that if you are doing any marketing, you need to have a relationship with Google. Things like Google Analytics, Google Webmaster Tools are really important to tracking how many people are visiting your website, how your website's performing, what sort of analytics you're getting, where traffic's coming from. So yeah, Google's part of the game, even if you're not planning on using AdWords or paid search on Google or trying to use SEO. Google's sort of always in that game. They pretty much own search and own a fair whack of the internet one way or another. There's another component which I haven't got on here, and that's traffic from other sites. So it's organic traffic that's not from search engines. That's a bit harder to control, so we won't really talk about that here. There's three types of traffic. We can have traffic that we own. So that's something, for example, if we've got a Facebook page and we're posting something, the people who see that, we kind of own that traffic because it's our Facebook page. We didn't have to pay for it, although in practice, you do have to pay. A better example might be email, where we can email our own customers and that doesn't cost us anything. That's our email list and our email platform. So that's owned. Then you've got earned. That's where you might get attention online, such as you post something and lots of people share it, or you've been creating great content on your website for months or years, and you start ranking really well in Google, or perhaps a business partner or a customer sends out an email talking about your business or referring a friend. So they're earned. And then the paid option is you can pay to have people send you out emails. That's called solo email. Lots of marketers will send paid email to either maybe their coaching clients, or to to businesses that are paid a certain amount for an email. Our Chamber of Commerce, for example, does that. It will promote your business in newsletters or emails for a price. Next, Google offers paid search, and just as we're talking about with Facebook retargeting, there's also Google retargeting and other retargeting platforms around the internet. So there's lots of options for getting paid traffic. And then, of course, we've got paid Facebook ads, which is what we're concentrating on today. And the whole goal is to attract these people into our site. And one of the most common ways to do this is with a free gift. So that's really what our strategy tends to come down to is, hey, come and get this free thing, or read this article, or receive this value that I've got. And in exchange, I want to get your email address, or to have you go and do something for me online. So this is what we covered last week, and that webinar will be available. I'll send out a follow-up link. So if you missed the last webinar and you sort of want to know a bit more about the things we covered there, which is pretty much, it's similar to what we did, but I went through quickly how to set up retargeting on Facebook and on your website. I talked about the Power Editor, what custom audiences are. We'll be going into that in more detail, and then lookalike audiences. And Facebook Pixels is just the technology we use on our websites to to follow who attends our website. Okay, now I'll just change my screen now. So this is, I put this in last week, and it's worth mentioning again. One of the key things with Facebook ads is that, and this is whether you're promoting a post or you're creating a separate ad, is that you can't have too much text. And to add to that, images are super important. So images are one of the most important factors that will determine whether people will click on your ad or not. And then when they click on your ad, you want them to go to another to a page, a landing page or an opt-in page that has the same type of image on that page. And if you went through, we'll go through my ads in this as an example, but you'll see I'm using consistent branding, consistent colors, because you don't want them to go, oh, am I in the wrong place here? This isn't what I thought I was opting into. So you want to keep it consistent, but importantly, you're not allowed to have much text on the first ad in Facebook. They don't want just a wall of text there. They want a nice, pretty picture. In general, things like faces do really well. Action shots, things that create a bit of intrigue. And if you're thinking about doing Facebook advertising, you need to start attuning your eyes to looking at other people's Facebook ads. Look at what's a promoted post in your feed and really switch into that. And so there's a rule with Facebook ads, a 20% text rule. The text can be in a maximum of 5 boxes on a grid like this. Okay, so this text here is too much. It's actually filling 6 boxes on its own, whereas this text here you can see is only filling 5 boxes. And if you just go down on the page you're watching now, the webinar page, and scroll down, you'll see links to some some bonuses I've given you, including a guide, a Photoshop guide that lets you set up your pages like this, which I use all the time. So what I'm going to do is just change to my browser and go into Facebook. And I'll just be a second, my window is very large, so I just need to shut a few things down so you can see it, otherwise it will be very small. Okay, that should be viewable. So I'll just share that screen with you now. Okay, so here's my Facebook screen. This is where we access ads. So I've just clicked on any Facebook view here. I'm just clicking on the main menu. Oh, and a very quick recap. It's worth every now and then just trying to find your way around Facebook. They deliberately change the layout regularly to keep it fresh and new and keep you looking at the sidebar. Otherwise, we'd all just tune into the news feed and ignore all the ads and things like that, which they don't want. They want you to buy lots of stuff. And as I said, get in the habit of looking at other people's ads. I mean, this is a really nice, clean ad. We can see that this is in the news feed. It's sponsored. So someone's paid for this to be there, Udemy. They've got these Udemy sales are great, by the way. I've got some fantastic courses, including some good ones on social media marketing. So check that out. And we'll see here, this is Frank Kern, who's a very well-known internet marketer. He's just using his face behind some computers. People know him well enough to know what that means. But also, we just connect with faces. And here we've got a fairly striking looking person. You can see in both of these, they've got a sort of mock button there. If you click anywhere on this image, the result is the same. Images of buttons make us think, gee, maybe I better click it. So there's a lot of conditioning going on in these processes. So let's jump into Ads Manager here. So last week I talked about the Power Editor. We'll spend most of our time just in the normal Ads Manager at the moment. So we've got a and just check. So I've got 3 active campaigns, and there's 2 ads here. These were 2 of my Facebook ads, and let's have a quick look at what occurred there. I'm very surprised they blocked that one. It's interesting. Sometimes they'll block an ad and there's nothing wrong with it, and you can request a review, but okay, so this is the ad that didn't get through. That should have got through. In fact, that ad has got through before, but it's possibly just triggering off the too much text rule. They also don't like you using any Facebook images. So I had another version of this ad that had FB in it, and they've let that through sometimes, but other times they've blocked it. So just be aware the text thing is a big issue, and that's one of the main reasons you'll have your ads blocked. Another really common reason is too much skin. If you've got someone in a bikini, or a bodybuilder, or even just sometimes things that are skin colored, your ad can be blocked because it's sort of perceived as being pornographic or otherwise objectionable. So one of the things I thought would be really useful is to look at LinkedIn, and I'm just opening my LinkedIn here. Okay, and what we're going to do is go to connections. And look, I do hope this works, because LinkedIn actually blocked this functionality about 2 weeks ago, and it has been reinstated, but we'll just check that we can do it here. Okay, they might have changed it a little bit. Yeah, so this used to they have changed this layout. I'm just a bit concerned they've blocked this. So there has been a lot of issues on LinkedIn with harvesting of data by third-party apps, which is actually, and so even what we're doing here is almost against the terms of service. You're certainly allowed to download your contacts, but as I said, you know, things change on the internet all the time. So we'll just do LinkedIn download contacts, and what we want is a CSV file, which is just, it's like an Excel file but a different format. So we do an address book export. So this is a different screen from where I've got it previously. We want to export it as a CSV file. Any CSV file is fine. So we'll just export it. That will create a file that's basically going to have a series of columns. It's just going to ask us for a captcha, so 1102. And just in case you missed that, all I did was Google LinkedIn export, or LinkedIn contact export CSV. Continue. Okay, so it should give us a prompt to download that file now. I'll just put it into my downloads. I've already done this recently, so I don't need another copy. Okay, and just for, I'll open this in Outlook. I won't show you the screen just for the privacy of the people who are on the list, but just to let you know what I'm seeing, I've just got a spreadsheet, and the first column is title, then first name, middle name, last name, and then email address. And really all we're after here is the email address. So what I'm going to do is just cut and paste the email address column, and I can just click the, yeah, so I don't have a way to show you dummy data or to sort of blur the screen on this, on Google Hangouts, which is what I'm using. So I won't actually show it to you, but effectively what I'm going to do now is go into audience. Actually, I will go to tools and go to audiences and create audience. So what we're going to do here is create an audience of people that we want to display our ads to. I'll create a custom audience. and I'm going to put in my customer list. And so what I've done is get a list of people from LinkedIn. I've got 4,000 LinkedIn contacts, so it's a really nice batch of people. And I can either upload the file, and if you upload the file, it should be a CSV or text file, and just include emails only with no heading. For example, you don't want the heading that says email address. You just want a list of emails and just a single list with each email on one line, or emails separated by commas is fine. What I normally do is actually, like, rather than have to do it from have to edit and save that file properly as a CSV, I usually just cut and paste it directly from the Excel spreadsheet. And so what I'm going to do is paste in the list of email addresses. As I said, it will be, the addresses will be visible, so I won't put them in, but the format is at domain.com. So they're the acceptable formats, either just one per line or separated by commas. You don't need their name. You don't need their don't need any other information. And if you have a single thing that is not an email address in there, it won't work. Another trick is it won't accept Facebook emails. So there is a way to export the lists of people in Facebook groups and other things, and everyone has a Facebook email which you can email to, and it will go to their primary email. But if you try and put that list in, that won't work either. So it needs to be just a normal, domain-based email, or Outlook or Gmail or something like that. So we'd click Create Audience. And I won't do it because I will go straight to one of my example audiences that I've already got in there. So I'll go to the LinkedIn audience I've added previously. Okay, so here's a LinkedIn audience, and this is from about a month ago. So this is I went through exactly the same process I've just gone through here. That's the audience. Now, what I can do is create a lookalike from that audience. So, and remember, that list of people could have been my existing customers. Let's say I've only got 100 customers, and I want to market to my customers, but also I'd love to market to people who are similar to my customers who I don't yet have on my list. And I can do that by doing Create Lookalike. I choose Australia. I can choose how big the audience is. Obviously, the smaller the audience, the more like my customers they will be. It will be more targeted. If I go bigger, then they'll be less and less like my customers. I usually leave it small. 169,000 people is heaps for me. Okay. And it's saying I've already got one with the same source, and that audience is, I'll just go back and you can actually see that it'll be right next to it. I think there's a lookalike. So this is an audience I've created already. You can see the number is about 169,000. It's probably 169 plus my my own contacts that were already in there. And so we can now select that audience. And when we're actually running an ad, we can rename this audience or add a description. What we can do is run an ad to this audience, and we can say, look, let's increase conversions on our website. So say, for example, when I want people to sign up to a webinar, then I can choose a URL. So I'll show you the and in case you haven't seen this before, what I'm doing here is I'm just typing in my address, like the start of my web address, which brings up digital influence, and then I'm extending that and just typing in a couple of characters of the word I know, is in the URL, and that way it finds the URL for me. Otherwise, I've got to go into my website and dig around for it, but your browser remembers all the URLs you remember. So I just rely on that all day to go to the web pages I need. So there's my URL. I want to send people to, this is the one that anyone opted in for today's. It's HTTP to be a full web address. So put that in there. It's going to find that. And then what we're looking for is the webinar confirmation. So I've put in the landing page for okay, so this is the landing page, and then after people fill out their name and email, then they get sent through to a thank you page, and on that thank you page is a tracking code, and that I've just selected that tracking code. So I'm combining the place where I'm sending them and also the goal that I want them to achieve, which is to register and download this tracking code. So they get that tracking code after they fill out that form. They end up on a page where they get that tracking code. So then we can continue. So now we've created an ad and we're targeting this custom audience. So we'll just put in LinkedIn. It will find the lookalike 1%. Now I can add more custom audiences, but what we're actually better doing is to get a very tightly refined customer audience. So make it as specific as we can and zone right in on what we think our ideal client will look like. So what I can do is to add some additional information. So let's say, for example, I want people around Brisbane. Let's say I will be running a workshop in Brisbane over the next couple of months on social sales funnel. And so I'd love to be targeting people who are in Brisbane for this. So we'll add in Brisbane. At the moment, it's targeting Australia, Queensland, and I can get rid of that. Oops, no. That was like a heading for the Brisbane one. Okay, so Brisbane, Queensland, Australia, and 25 miles around. Let's go a bit bigger than 25 miles. Go to 50 miles. Now, what age group? On the whole, people interested in this are probably going to be a little bit older than 18. Probably 20 or 25 or older, and probably not 65 plus. So I would say that up to about 50, 55 is going to be a better audience for me, although I know plenty of you are in that age bracket. So let's push that up to 60. So yeah, quite often some of the best customers for this type of service are, a bit older, and they own businesses, they're successful in business, they've got a budget, and they want to get results online. They don't know how. They weren't born with an iPad in their hand like kids these days. So, and I can choose if I want men or women. I can specify language or other demographic information. We can also specify interests. So I can say, what are their hobbies or activities? What business or industry are they in? In my case, I could look at marketing, which I think will be there. So if I wanted to target marketing professionals, I could go for that. Mostly I'm targeting professional services, but let's say we want to target the people who are making the marketing decisions in their organization, or who have specified an interest in marketing. So let's add it in marketing, and technology is another area. Pop that open. So really we're looking for things like, in my business, things like social media. I won't spend too long on this because we're already past 8 o'clock, but you can see you can dig right into those. The other area you can do a lot of targeting is on activities. So this is where people are doing things like playing games. Anyone who's making a Facebook payment is going to be attractive. That shows that they're engaging with online shopping. Maybe they're using games or buying things through Facebook stores or spending money on Facebook advertising. So let's put in higher than average spend in our Facebook payments, and that's going to make it much more specific, possibly too specific. We'll just have to be careful we haven't got smaller. So we've gone down to fewer than 1,000 people. And let's put in Facebook payments recently as well. We've still got fewer than 1,000 people. Facebook page admins are likely to want to know more about advertising. Now I've got 8,000 people. So that's a pretty nicely targeted list. And for $20 or $50, we can reach those people. Then we can set a budget. Currently it's set at $5 a day. For some reason it's showing US dollars here. I usually change that to Australian dollars. And what we're doing is optimizing for website conversions, and this is really important. Facebook knows some people are much more likely to click on your ad and then go through and then fill out the form and end up at the conversion page. And they've measured this over millions and millions of interactions per day, basically. They know which people are going to be the ones who'll download your product or sign up for your webinar. Choosing website conversions here, if you want conversions, will give you a higher click rate. You'll actually pay more per click, but your overall cost will be lower. So generally, it's best to choose the option. This is sort of a bidding process. You can set the amount of conversions worth if you want, but all the advice I've had is that that's better. You can test to compare. There's lots of other ways you can vary the ads, and we won't spend tons more time on it. Let's choose an image, and in this case, we'll go with this image. It has definitely accepted it before. I'm really surprised it rejected that last time, but for the sake of this demo, we'll do that. Now I've got quite a lot of ads in here, but I'll choose one of my Here we go. So this is just choosing which page is promoting the ad, because all my pages will show up in here. I've selected digital influence, which is the page I'd like this one to be promoting. And then I can actually add in the text for the we just put in an ad headline, and we haven't got much space there. And obviously want to plan all this out thoroughly. Learn to use Facebook's retargeting technology to get more ideal clients. Choose a call to action button on an ad. And in this case, learn more is often a good one because it mirrors what I've got there, but also it's a little bit less committing than something like register or buy now. It lets them feel like they're just checking it out, but once they actually get to the page, they're very likely to opt in regardless. And we can choose whether we want to show it on mobile devices, whether we want to show it in the right-hand side, and whether we want to show it on the audience network. So this is for mobiles and tablets that are showing a smaller screen size. If you have certain products and you only want, or if your ad isn't mobile optimized, you won't want to send them there, so you can remove that if you want to. You might prefer that the ad only appears in the main news feed. In that case, you'd remove that one. And the audience network is, there are Facebook ads shown on other websites, not on Facebook. If you don't want that to occur, then you would leave that unadded. At the moment, that's not added. So then we can just go ahead and place that order. And I would normally probably spend about 3 times as long on this. I put a lot of time into the image creation, and then we start creating lots of variations on the ad. So it actually takes quite a while to do an ad like this. But then what you can do is create a similar ad and go through and create an ad with slightly different targeting or slightly different images. So that's really, we're certainly out of time. And I do want to show you how you can, sort of get the overall everything in place to do this yourself. As you can see, there's quite a lot to it. It's not rocket science. It's very accessible, and I do encourage you to have a bit of a go yourself. what's really easy and what I really encourage you to do is just to start boosting posts. If you've got anything that you would like to you'd like to promote on your Facebook page, or perhaps it's a personal post from your personal account, but it's promoting your business, you can just come down here and click Boost Post. And we need to find one. So this one is just one of my clients. I've shared some of her stuff, and we can now boost this post. And what this does is just very quickly let us say, look, let's just throw $5 at that will let 670 to 1,800 people see that post. This post has been up for 3 or 4 days, and it's only, well, maybe just 2 days, but maybe 1 day, but it's only reached 2 people. So it shows you how low the penetration can be. Whereas by boosting it and spending $5, then you can reach another 1,000 people or so. So what that means is that given the cost of your time, you're almost mad. You can't afford not to boost posts and use Facebook. You just don't get any results without using some form of paid advertising on the whole. And similarly, here's another one from one of my friends from KPI. Elizabeth has written an awesome book, and if this was hers, she could boost this post, but this would definitely fail the text test, as would this one. Too much text, they won't work. So just keep that in mind. But as you can see, this is a really valuable part of your online marketing process. It can really help to give you traffic on demand. And if you've got a funnel set up, if you've got a sales funnel set up leading into your website, and you've got some valuable products, you've got a credible brand, then this is a way to turn on the traffic, bring in the customers, and then convert them into valuable sales. Now, I really focus on the big picture. We don't just run Facebook ads for people. I've had people say, oh, can you do my Facebook ads? If you just do the Facebook ads on your own and don't get the rest right, things like analytics, having a great website, having good landing pages, having a good CRM, etc., you won't get results. You'll throw money at it and it just doesn't convert, because each step needs to have a good conversion, and it takes time to test it. It's very quick just to boost a post, but by the time you're testing lots of different things, you really need to have that big picture. And that's really what I teach people in the Digital Brand Blueprint. So if you'd like to know more about Facebook ads, I'd really love to you just to post any comments below the chat there, just below the video you're watching at the moment. There is a little chat box. You can click on that and post a comment. You need to sign in with Facebook or create a Discus account. But if you choose sign in with Facebook, it will just let you confirm it, and you can post a comment. What I encourage you to do, though, is if you're serious about this, if you really want to start getting these results in your business, then you need to work on that big picture. You need to get a very clear offer for your business, so that it's really obvious to people what they're going to get if they work with you. You need to develop your social channels and your email marketing. You need to have a clear way to communicate with people and have things that you can send them to download from Facebook ads. You need to have a way to follow up with them and continue that conversation and turn it into a sale. So it really is a much bigger thing than just just getting one little bit of technology right. It's like a big machine. You need everything in place. And this is how I what I've really found after 10 years of doing this in my own business, and really 5 years of doing it for other businesses, is that it's not enough just to get a good website or run a few Facebook ads. You've got to get everything work in harmony, and it takes time. So the trick is to get started and to take action, and just set yourself a goal of trying one of these things out every week. Really start to get hands-on with it. Test what works for your business. Talk to people about what's worked for them. What I do with my clients is take them through a step-by-step process, and that can be as simple as building a website and setting up some landing pages and sending ads to an offer. But it tends to take quite a while of mapping it out. And what I'd find is people would buy a website and they think, oh, well, now I'll get customers, and it doesn't work that way. So what I've done with the Digital Brand Blueprint is to create a training program for my existing clients so that they really have that the background information they need to get success. It's because it's not as simple as just having a website. And from my own experience, I'm not an IT expert. I don't have a background in marketing. What I've learned has really come about from just trying things out myself, following online marketing training. I've done a lot of advanced training on it, but also just reading heaps of free stuff. I think I probably spend 20 hours a week just keeping up with what's going on in the industry. But I do find that for the professional services and for these more valuable products, that a lot of the advice out there doesn't really apply. A lot of the information is sort of geared toward online marketing and get rich quick type stuff. Whereas when you're selling more expensive and complex services that require a high level of trust, that just doesn't work. So I've put together this program. If you're interested, then definitely check it out. You can just click on the ad below here. What I'll be doing just for this, the people on this call at the moment, is I will be running an early bird special, so you can get in on that now. The program won't be launched for a couple of weeks, and so this will be early bird. You will not get access for a couple of weeks, but you will get your first strategy call, which is part of the program. What we actually cover is we build a website from scratch for you, for your personal brand or your business, and we set up sales funnels, we set up an offer, we create a lead magnet, and basically everything you need to start driving traffic into your business, building your expert brand, and then moving clients toward a high value sale. So if you'd like to check out that course, just click on that link. And what you need to do to get the early bird special is just type in early bird here like this. And if we apply this, it should go down and you'll save $500 on the purchase. Now in that, you also get my lead generating website course, which is worth $1,500. And that's basically the done with you version of what I charge clients $5,000 for. So there's heaps of value in here. A great way to get started if you want to learn how to do this right. You want to have someone sort of do it with you rather than going alone. And but you actually want to know it yourself. And that's what I recommend. I know there's a trend towards saying, hey, look, just outsource everything you can't do yourself. But look, I'll tell you, there's so much stuff that can go wrong with the technology. If you don't have a clue how it works, then things are likely to break and sabotage your success. So it's important, in my opinion, that you master your tools. And if you want a business where you're selling things online, making money online, or getting lots of customers online, that means that your website and your marketing software are your daily business tools, and that's what I teach you to do in there. So if you'd like to take your business to the next level online, then just click on that link. And if you've got any questions, just shoot me an email. You can reply to any of the emails I've sent you about the webinar tonight, and happy to have a chat. Now, the first, what I will say is the first 10 people that sign up for this will also get free tickets to my social sales funnel live workshop, which I'll be holding in a couple of months. So we don't have dates for that yet, but that'll be great training. It's really just focusing on the social side of things. It doesn't address all the website setup. It doesn't address creating content or strategy. As I said, they're critical to getting it to work. But some people already have that. If you've got an established business, you've got an established online presence, you're already selling stuff online, and you just want to improve your sales funnel, then that training will be great for that. That will be hands-on training. We'll be in a room together with a laptop. We'll come away with a functioning sales funnel. There'll be heaps of opportunity for hot seats and testing and comparison with each other. So that'll be a really great event. And the first 10 people who buy this will get free tickets to the live event as well. So thanks again for attending tonight. If you do have any questions, just enter them in the chat box here. just pop it in there. What you need to do is it'll just say confirm with Discus if you want to make a chat. But yeah, happy to answer any specific questions that you have, and you're also welcome to shoot them through by email. So I hope that's been valuable. There is heaps to cover. You can get a lot of good advice for social media marketing online, but one of the tricks is just making sure it's geared toward your size business, because what works for a cafe isn't going to work for an accountant and vice versa. So you really just want to make sure you're getting the information from someone who's working with businesses like yours. That's the challenge. And that's sort of how that's the best way to choose a provider, really, is finding someone who's worked with businesses like yours, who understands what you're doing. So, I really encourage you to find someone who is a good match. If you do just want some help specifically with Facebook advertising, and you don't want, you're ready to do it now, also shoot me an email. I can put you in touch with someone. And similarly, if you are after a more full-blown done-for-you service, we do offer fully managed marketing from $3,000 a month. So most of our clients we just build websites for, but if they want, we tell them, if you want to get results online, you need to do ongoing marketing. And really that's the point at which we start getting involved. If it's much smaller than that, it's not really worth our time to take the job on. So get in touch by email, or go ahead and just click on the link there to enter your details and buy that product. This special is only available to early birds and won't be available afterward. So thanks again for joining the webinar, and I'll just check that I've covered all my slides. I think we're pretty right. Terrific. I'll just pop back to the other screen. Now, as I mentioned, at the bottom of the screen, I've also got those downloads for the social media image size cheat sheet, and I'll just share that with you. Okay, so just below, in fact, I'm probably better doing it. I'll just scroll down on the screen. Sorry, a few too many browser windows open. I've lost the one I was on. Okay, so just popping back here. If you just scroll down to the bottom of the page here, if you click on this, it will take you to a post where you can download a file with a Photoshop template to create social media ads. Nope, that's wrong. This one tells you the size of images to use on social media. This one is for ads only. These are a different size. They're 1200 by 628, and this is the template for the PowerPoint layout. This is a really nice infographic from Facebook talking about how the different types of marketing work together. It's particularly attractive and a really good way to think of how the targeting works in contrast to the promoted posts and things like that. So what targeting lets you do is to really zoom in on a specific type of customer, including customers that you already know. So you can target by just demographic, like 30-year-old women in Brisbane, for example. You can target by personal activities, birthday, relationship status. If you're a real estate agent or a divorce lawyer, it's quite useful to know someone's marital status. And then you can start zooming right in on specific people, activities, visiting your website, liking your page, etc. So that's one of the benefits of Facebook. It does give you tremendous power with the targeting. So go ahead and download those that additional information if you want to start working on your ads. And yeah, shoot me an email with any questions. And it looks like there's just an extra comment there. And good question from Lee. Lee wants to know, okay, struggling to find an answer to the image scrape. So I do vaguely remember Lee's question. when you first post something into Facebook, so let's go to the digital influence here. So if I now share a link, no, not that one. Okay, so I'll find my Facebook ads. Go to just grabbing a URL that I know has an image on here. Okay. So I've pasted in the link and Facebook has automatically gone to the page and found the picture. Now, a lot of people, this is a really important thing to get set up right on your website, and most websites aren't set up properly for this. There's extra things you've got to do to your site or to your, if you're using WordPress, your theme, to make sure that it will pick this up properly. And I'll show you exactly how I do this. So what it's done is pull the picture from my site. Now what Lee's referring to is that he's having problems where it's not correctly picking up the right image. What I'll also show you though is sometimes you'll paste your link in and think, oh geez, I don't want that image, and it's given us two that we can choose from. So this is one that got rejected because it said FB and they don't like using FB in their ads. Okay, let's go now to that page, and in fact what I'll have to do is just go to the back end. Now this probably won't answer Lee's question. I've already had a chat to Lee about the issue he's facing, and I don't think that this is quite what he needed, but it's still really topical and useful for most people, because it's not just for Facebook ads that you want to do this. If someone shares your ad on social media, then you want to control the picture that comes up. You want to make sure that you've got a good picture set in your site to come up, and most websites aren't set up for this at all. So it will just show a little random thumbnail. It might be a picture from the sidebar or a picture in the article, but not the one that you want. And what we want to do is to make sure that we get to choose which image comes up. Okay. Look, sorry, I might not be able to do this. I've just because I'm running a few browsers. There we go. Okay, so I'll just go to pages. So this is the back end of my website. I'll go and find that page in the back end, and okay, so this is the ad that we want to go to. So this is the page that we want to go to. Okay. And there's an option called featured image, which shows up here. And that's the way to generally set this. Oh, look, Lee, sorry, I'm just changing some settings on my site and I can't display the featured image at the moment, so I can't give this demo. But I'm sure Lee already knows, if you're using Yoast SEO, you can go to the social tab, which comes up about here if you pop this box open, and set the image and also set the featured image, and that controls what comes up on your Facebook shares. So that's really important to get right. I spend a fair bit of time making sure these pictures are good, and these days I've been setting them to be the same size as my Facebook ads so that I can just automatically use these as ads. So you create one really nice image and then you use it on the website, you use it on the ad, you use it as the social sharing image. You can use it in other promotional stuff as well. So yeah, I probably can't help you with that, Lee. Give us a call, though, Lee, and I'll see if I can help you with that, because it is likely in your theme settings. The other trick, though, is if we accidentally got the wrong picture here and we decided, look, really we want to focus on a different picture, then we would need to change the picture on our site and then go through to and I always just Google it. So Facebook scrape developer. You just put in Facebook scrape, it usually picks it up. and there's this thing called debugger. So Facebook debugger, and then you paste in the URL and then debug it, and it will scrape it again and tell you what picture it's finding. So just click show existing scrape information. I find this very buggy actually. So it's displaying the images. It's finding 2 images on my site for some reason, probably because I've got the featured image and also the social media SEO image as well. But if I change that picture, Facebook would keep displaying the old one. And what I need to do is say fetch new scrape information. That clears Facebook's cache, its memory of what the picture was, and it will go and get the new picture. So if we wanted to change the picture, that's what we need to do. And having done that, we're down to just 1 picture. So that's probably, and now it's properly displaying what will be there. So yeah, there's lots of little tricks like that. We'll be covering it in detail in the live training. So we'll be doing a live event in Brisbane in a couple of months' time. But also we do go through this in detail in my digital brand blueprint, which is really a kind of all-in-one, getting your brand online, marketing your business, establishing yourself as an expert, and then it really includes everything that's in this social sales funnel, but with a much bigger picture view as well. So thanks again, influencers. Great to share this information. Next week I will be in Bali. I will be attempting to broadcast to the world again, but no guarantees about what the internet will be like. So hoping that I'm able to put on a webinar for you. If I'm not, then I will be pre-recording a video, and so I'll be offering the same content, but it will be pre-recorded, but I expect I'll be able to get a good live feed. So I look forward to seeing you next Thursday for the Digital Influence webinars. Thanks again, and talk to you soon.